Hey, welcome back to Velvet Roads Homestead. Today I'm going to be taking you on a July garden tour, so stay tuned and hit that subscribe button and a thumbs up and let's get started.
Go.
Okay, here in my first bed, right off the steps in my yard, I have a wild Roma tomato. I have really tried not to prune it like I would normally, because I want as many tomatoes on it as possible. And if you come down here, you can see quite a few tomatoes on it already. I planted some basil, and then here I've got some strawberries that we've gotten actually a few off of. So I've got a bunch of strawberries here. You can see some of the fruit is being attacked by the birds. I've been trying to let them get all the way ripe, but when I do, then creatures get it. So I might end up pulling these before they're ready. I've got my lemon thyme here, doing really nicely. And then I've got 4 shishito plants back here. I just fertilized them, so hopefully they will stop turning yellow. But yeah, they're growing nicely. In the second bed, I've got some marigolds. I've got my stevia plant. My creeping thyme here is really beautiful when it's blooming. I've got this beautiful dahlia. I'm waiting for it to bloom. It's gonna be so pretty. Some more marigolds and my lavender plant. In this third bed, I've got the tail end of this chamomile. I've cut back quite a few times. And then some sort of volunteer tomato plant. I'm assuming that it's a cherry tomato plant. And then this is like all the volunteer ground cherries that came back. I tried planting some flowers here. I've got some toothache flowers here that are kind of being crowded out by this, but I like how wild it is. I'm just gonna let it do its thing.
Go.
So this is one of my favorite things that I have in my garden. It is our hollyhock. It's like I call it my double stuffed. I don't really know what it's called. It's different from a normal hollyhock because it doesn't have that like large center piece. But it's a perennial, so it comes back every year and it's doing really, really well. It's happy. Then over here I've got some beans and I've got a holy basil plant that's really trying to come in. I've got some more volunteer ground cherries. The birds! The birds, I just saw them in this bed when I pulled up, and this was a Armenian cucumber, and it was the only one that was doing well, and they pulled it out. I'm so frustrated. I have planted so many different things on this white trellis here, and everything has been either eaten or killed by something, and so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I have some cucumber starts coming again because I replanted. Hopefully something will work. Moving on though, I've got marigolds and I've got the tomatillos. They did have tons of flowers, so I'm hoping that I will get lots of tomatillos to make salsa with. And then at the base, I did plant lots of basil everywhere. As you go across on the other side of the bed, you'll see a trellis full. Over here on this trellis, I have pickling cucumbers. So far I've gotten one, and you can see a few more growing, so that's exciting. I've got my white echinacea. This is the first year that it has bloomed, so I'm super excited about that. And then moving over to this one, this is like my volunteer sunflowers. They've just gone crazy and I love it. All the parts with the flowers in it, but my sunflowers, they volunteered from last year. And at the base of my sunflowers, I have 3 different types, actually 4 different types of beans. I have the contender bean, I have this purple bean, and then I have a yellow wax bean, and then on the other side I have my favorite bean ever, and that is the dragon tongue bean. My kids love to just eat these raw right off the plant, or we love to saute them in butter for dinner. So over here, we've got the rest of those dragon tongue beans, which I need to replant all of those things. Interspersed with the dragon tongue beans over here, I've got a Chardonnay tomato plant right up front here, and it's doing its best. It's not in a very sunny location, so it hasn't really gotten very big. I've got some lima pole beans right there growing on that pole. And then I've got golden beets. This is fenugreek. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. And then I have some cinnamon basil there. I've got my kohlrabi, which is about to be pulled. I've got some regular beets. And then over here, I've got 3 jalapeno plants and some more basil. I tried planting something here and on that other side, and both times the seeds did not come up, so I'm not sure if the pill bugs got them or what, so I might have to like get some starts to put here. I love this patch here because this is the chamomile patch. It comes back usually every year in this bed. It finds this spot its most favorable, I think, because it does really well. I need to pick all of that. I have some hatch chili peppers here doing pretty well. I've got a cantaloupe finally starting to come up, and then these are all beans here. I've got a few tomato plants here. I've got the lemon boy, I don't know what this one is. This is an early girl. And then down here, I tried to start some plants. So this is, I believe this is a stevia start or a basil start. I'm not sure. I think this might be the stevia start and this is the basil start. They looked very similar when I took them, but this is a Roma tomato start that I took from the plant. And then this is the golden, or the gold oregano. Over here, I've tried, oh no, they got covered up. Planting, these are cucamelons here. And this is as big as they've gotten. I planted them probably 2 months ago. I know that they usually grow pretty slow, but good grief, they're going very slow. My hops plant that I got is doing really nicely. I think it's gonna start flowering here pretty soon. Super stoked about that. Over here, I have some delicata squash. It looks like it's coming down with some mold on its leaves. And then I've got some Swiss chard, some dill that I did not plant, came up from last year. Along this trellis here, I have pole beans and then 1 cucumber. I've also got another delicata squash here, some onions. I just planted these potatoes here because it was an empty spot, and they're just starting to come up. This is a zucchini plant that for the life of me I cannot figure out how to get it to grow. And then some volunteer nasturtiums. So this is one of my favorite beds to look at just because obviously it's beautiful. The bees love this bed. I have a butterfly bush here in the back that I actually trimmed back quite a bit before it even started growing to hopefully cut down on its size. But I'm not mad about it. It's so pretty and it smells delightful. I've got some purple coneflower or echinacea growing in the front. And I've got some roses beside the butterfly bush. I've been trying to cut those back to keep them blooming. Some volunteer sunflowers and calendula, and then some English lavender. This is my garlic chives. A bunch of empty space right here. I just pulled something out. This is my sad little tomato start of some tomato. I did plant some stuff along here that has not come up yet. I think I planted cucumbers. And then all of these little starts are potatoes that I planted and some beets down at the end. And of course, a beautiful sunflower. So this here is one of the last beds. I have some soldier beans here on the end starting to come up. I've got some romaine lettuce that is actually doing pretty good, which is awesome. I've got 2 zinnias here, and again, a really struggling zucchini plant for some reason. I've got this volunteer cherry tomato. I'm not sure what kind it is. It might be the purple cherry tomatoes. I've got this, I think this is the, I can't remember the name of it, but it has little tiny little baby ones, and they're so yummy in salads and stuff. I've got a slicing cucumber here, and then a bunch of cucumbers along that is slicers. I have the heirloom black beauty growing here, a volunteer next to it. I'm not sure what volunteer it is, some sort of grape or something. And then my zinnia and my giant sage bush. Oh, I also have an eggplant down there too, but it's not super happy, so. This is my Rose of Sharon, finally coming into bloom. I love it, it's beautiful. Another sage bush. I've got an alpine strawberry down here. Some lavender starts back there that I put in that space. I have my creeping rosemary, a dahlia that is kind of dying. And then I've got 2 of my blueberry bushes, which actually have fruit on them this year. We already picked one from the early bloomer one. My comfrey, which needs to be cut back. I've got this pear tree that I opened up to the sun this year. We're gonna try that. Here I have some more creeping thyme that kind of gets overshadowed by the comfrey, and then I've got a calendula coming up. That's it for the front yard. Let's go visit the back. Oh, all right, here's my green stalk. It's shaded for the majority of the day, which I like because I can put things in here that can tolerate less sun, but it is sun for like the morning time. So I have some anise mint, the licorice mint here, that was a volunteer from some point. I relocated some of my mint here. I've got a holy basil here, another holy basil here, some lemon balm, some more mint. I have lettuce seeds planted in those pockets, but they have not, well, maybe a few of them have come up, but then I have some more licorice mint here. I've got some coriander, cilantro here that went to seed. So now it's coriander, but that's for that. Over here, this is where I tore out that big lilac tree at the beginning of the year. And this is what I planted here. I relocated my bergamot, and it has just started to bloom. The hummingbirds love it, along with my hostas, they're starting to bloom. Then along this fence line over here, I planted some golden raspberries. Which I will need to support here pretty soon. My apple tree is coming along nicely. Then over here, I've got some wild oregano. I just kind of let it do its thing because the bees really like it. I've got quite a few apples on the tree this year. I cut it back really harshly last year, but it's growing pretty good. Got yarrow and some spearmint growing wild. I've got my rhubarb here doing really well. I'll probably harvest some here in just a little while. And then we've got raspberries almost on their second bout of fruit. So over here along this fence line, I have a black currant over in the corner, and then all of these are red raspberries and a sunflower. This sunflower got blown down the other day, and it's still trying to survive. I think I might just give it to the chickens though. This is our chickens. We're growing them too. Here in the alleyway, I was trying to create some sort of privacy along the fence. And so I planted red raspberries here. I planted calendula last year, and they just like to come up every year like calendula does. More red raspberries, and then we've got some red raspberries coming up freely on their own. Along this trellis here, we have my grapevine bush, or my grapevine. I have tried to trim it back quite heavily this year to help with the fruiting, and like pest pressure on the grapes and the leaves, and it's actually done really well. So as you can see, there is a lot of delicious looking grapes that will be ripe come September. I also have my lavender here. So this is Spanish lavender, and then I've got 2 English lavender and a few sunflowers at the end. All in all, yeah. Thanks for joining me on today's July garden tour, and I will be sharing with you as the season progresses what I exchange, what I pull out, what I put in. So make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for joining.